Wipe away the tears, guys. It's issue number 79, the penultimate episode of Conquest. So one more to go after this one. So what do we get today? The Magnavent Walkway Part 1. And I've actually assembled what we received in issue 79. But we will need to come back next week to see the rest of this brilliant piece of terrain. There's a couple of bits left over which we'll need for next week as well. But yeah, it's going to be a really nice piece of terrain. So let's have a look through the magazine. In this issue, the first parts of Galvanic Walkway arrive with this issue. The Galvanic Walkway is the biggest scenery kit in your Conquest collection. Don't worry though, since there's an easy to follow build guide in this issue, you'll need the rest of the kit from issue 80 to build it. Till then, this issue contains an exciting new mission for you to play, where Typhus leads an unending horde of Poxwalkers against the Ultramarines. In addition, there's some great articles for you to read, including an introduction to the 3 main ways to play Warhammer 40,000. Armed with this knowledge, you'll be ready for your next steps into the game when your subscription ends. Oh, don't say it. Okay, so what we're going to find out about today. Defilers. So these are for the Death Guard. Then we'll look at the Soul Grinders, which are an amazing model. I've got a model I'll show you when we get to that. Then we're looking at Slanesh with a Slanesh showcase. Then we're looking at Land Speeder Storms, so War Machines 14. Then we've got the build guide for the Galvanic Walkway. And then we've got core rules number 4, ways to play. So we'll be looking at open, narrative and matched play. And in Mission 62, they came from the deep. Typhus and his army launch a surprise attack on the Ultramarines' flanks. Okay, so let's look at the Defilers. And so what we start to look at is the more kind of mechanical chaos of the Death Guard. Starting with this and certainly looking at the Soul Grinder. From the Death Guard lines, something monstrous stirs. On piston-driven legs, a crab-like Defiler clatters forward, guns blazing and armoured claws crushing its unfortunate victims. Defilers are huge six-legged demon engines that use their gigantic metal power claws to rip apart infantry and snap tanks in half. Those enemies they cannot reach with their claws are instead destroyed by a hail of shells or burnt to cinder in gouts of flame. So they are nasty looking. Okay, and then we look at the Defiler weapons. So we've got battle cannons, Havoc launcher, Reaper autocannon, demonic entity. Each Defiler is powered by a demonic entity bound within. Once the demon is sealed inside the machine, it slowly warps and changes the form of its armoured body to better suit its needs. Grim. Then we've got Twin Heavy Flamer, Defiler Claws, and Defiler Scourge. The Defiler Scourge is a powerful whip-like weapon that is designed to be flailed into the enemy lines, where it smashes armour and breaks bone. Entire infantry formations are swatted aside by such a weapon. Tasty. Okay, now we've got Soul Grinders, and I've got a Soul Grinder which I assembled last week actually. It's, well, partially assembled. I need to put it together after I've spray primed silver and probably red. But let's quickly put this on here and give you a look. So this is an older model, comes on a square base. But they are really cool. So I've got this model is available for Age of Sigmar as well. So I've got this as part of my future Slaves to Darkness army. Okay. Soul Grinders are perhaps the most terrifying demon engines to behold. As large as a greater demon and as well armed as a battle tank, they are almost impossible to stop. Soul Grinders are often used as the spearhead of a Chaos Space Marine or demon attack. The demonic nature allows them to appear where they are least expected, catching the enemy by surprise. Their warped metal hulls and demonic aura make them invulnerable to all but the most powerful guns. So there's a couple of them there, and they do look amazing when they're painted. Demons of all 4 Chaos Gods can be bound into Soul Grinder form. Okay, cool. And there's a bit here about Plague Hulks. When a demon of Nurgle accepts the Soul Forge's bargain, they are often reborn as a Plague Hulk. These demon engines are similar to Soul Grinders of Nurgle, but they are more bloated with plague and riddled with disease. Rather than belching warp flame, their maws spit forth jets of acidic plague filth. They often have a rock cannon fused to one arm and a giant plague sword in the other hand. Those who get too close to a Plague Hulk are likely to be overcome by clouds of poison. Okay, then we move on to the final, I believe it's the final Chaos God that we're looking at in Conquest. So we look at Slaanesh. Born in the death throes of the Eldari Empire, Slaanesh is the god of excess. He corrupts mortals by tapping into the desires of the arrogant and ambitious, promising the pleasure and perfection beyond their wildest dreams. Many have been lured into damnation by Slaanesh's temptations. There's quite a bit there. So we've got Infernal Raptures. We'll have a look at that. These heralds of Slaanesh use their enchanting music to tempt mortals to their side. Each herald plays a heartstring lyre, a living instrument created from the body of a willing subject. By playing this instrument, they can help summon forth Slaaneshi demons. And then we've got a Fiend of Slaanesh. Fiends are nightmares given shape. They emit a strange perfume that paralyses their prey before moving in to tear apart their victims with razor claws. Only a mortal with great willpower has any hope of defeating a Fiend of Slaanesh. Okay, so straight into the showcase here. So there is the Infernal Enrapture, or the Infernal Infernal Enrapturess. Sorry, I said that wrong on the other page. And there is the Fiend of Slaanesh that we looked at. And both are really cool. I do quite like the Demonette models as well. They are cool. I've not really got much inclination of collecting Slaanesh or anything like that, but I do not deny that they are cool. And there is the Keeper of Secrets with elegant great blade and shining aegis. The Contorted Epitome. And then finally, Slaanesh and his brother Khorne rarely see eye to eye. Their demonic forces battle each other in both warp and reality. Okay, then we look at Land Speeders, or Land Speeder Storm. The Land Speeder Storm is an open-sided variant of the Land Speeder, capable of carrying a small squad of scouts. Now, I've actually got one of these. I won't get it out right now, but I have never had a more infuriating model to put together in my life. It was a real pain in the ass to put together, but it does look cool. The Land Speeder Storm is operated by a Chapter's 10th Company, where it is used as a scouting vehicle as well as a transport for small units of Space Marine scouts. The vehicle is equipped with sophisticated sensor arrays and engine bafflers that keep it quiet, making the Land Speeder Storm excellent for stealth operations. Many foe of the Imperium has been defeated by a well-timed Land Speeder Storm strike from an unexpected direction. Okay, so it's got a crew of 2 Space Marine Scouts. It can carry another 5. It's got a Cerberus launcher and heavy bolter. It's got those baffled engines that we mentioned. It's got some more Wargear here, which we just learned about. So the Cerberus launcher is housed underneath there. There's the baffler engines on the back, heavy bolter on the front. It's got a sensor array which feeds information to the pilot. So they are pretty cool. They are, again, so these are the old Space Marine Scout models as well, which aren't too bad, but I hate the heads on them. They look really outdated. Anyway, this is our build guide, of which, as you saw, I've already built what we could from the sprue we received today. And we'll get the other one next week where we'll finish it off. So it should be quite a large piece of terrain. Come out to about there. Okay. So we've got quite a lot of steps leading up. Right, okay. Now we learn about the 3 ways to play Warhammer 40k, which are basically This is telling us some stuff to collect that we will need to carry on. So the 40k rulebook, which we really don't need. If we've collected all of this conquest stuff and we've got it all filed away, we will have almost everything that we could possibly need. These are good campaign books, so it will help us to come up with, so it will give us campaigns to operate rather than us come up with our own battles that we do. We can, rather than coming up with our own battles. And then chapter approved. The chapter approved contains the best open play, narrative and match play rules published throughout the year across the Warhammer Studios publications, as well as a whole host of other rules. Chapter approved is something I've never bought before, but I do intend to pick it up. So they're released, I think, every December, and I think that moving on, I will pick that up. I've already got a 40k rulebook, which is a big beast of a rulebook, but I will pick up the chapter approved as well. Okay, 3 ways to play. However you wish to play Warhammer 40,000, there is a way that will suit you. Conquest is not the only way to play Warhammer 40,000. The Warhammer Studio publishes many books that you can use to play your games. These books have 3 main ways to play: open play, narrative play and matched play. Your conquest missions are examples of narrative play. They tell all the story of the invasion of Corvon 2. Open play offers a very free gaming experience with less rules to use, and match play has additional rules to make sure both players have balanced armies before playing. And then it just goes into the 3 different types. And I'll just read the opening paragraphs of each. If you just want to get all your models on the table and battle with your friends, open play is the game for you. Lighter on game balance, but filled with fun, you'll have a blast no matter what models you use. The narrative play is based around the stories that make up the background of Warhammer 40,000. Either those in Warhammer 40,000 books or those you write yourself. And then matched play allows players to assemble battle-forged armies of equal strength to fight balanced contests of strategy and skill. For a true test of generalship, there is no greater way to play. Okay, so now we get back to rules mission number 62, Terror from the Deep. The war for Corvon 2 is about to reach a pivotal moment. Typhus and his Lords of Contagion are readying their final attack on the Ultramarines, who are still battling valiantly. Other Imperial forces are beginning to arrive, but the Ultramarines may be too late to save the planet. Okay. Lord Felfi's invasion of Corvon 2 has not gone quite to plan. The Ultramarines and Corvonian defence forces have proved stubborn foes, despite being utterly outnumbered. Thankfully, Typhus, the Herald of Nurgle, has provided him with a chance of turning the conflict into a victory. Okay, so this is a stratagem that he's given him. It costs 1 a command point. Is called the Endless Pox. Use this stratagem at the end of your movement phase. If you do, pick a unit of Poxwalkers and remove it from the battlefield. You can then set it up again wholly within 6 inches of the edge of the battlefield and more than 9 inches away from any enemy models at its full starting strength. So it gives you an opportunity to replace those Poxwalkers anywhere on the battlefield, not just in your deployment zone, but obviously staying away from 6 inches of the edge and 9 inches from any enemy models. Okay, and then Captain Acheran has been outflanked. Typhus and his army of the dead have arisen from the depths of Corvon 2's polluted oceans and fallen upon the settlements north of Barakias. Acheran has been left with little choice but to respond, sending a large force north to meet the shambling horde and their Death Guard masters. Typhus's assault has left the Ultramarines' defences spread thin. Only by driving back Typhus's forces swiftly can the Ultramarines hope to win the battle for Corvon 2. Acheran knows that this attack is merely a diversion, however large it may be. Even his army's march to war, his mind races as he tries to predict where the final strike will land. And he's got a stratagem worth 1 command point called Avenge the Fallen. Use this stratagem when an Ultramarines unit from your army is destroyed as the result of attack made by an enemy unit. Until the end of the battle, when resolving attack made by an Ultramarines model from your army against that enemy unit, reroll hit rolls of 1. That is a good one. Okay, and then we're on to the mission. They came from the deep. Typhus and his Poxwalker hordes have emerged from the Axis Sea and to fall upon the Ultramarines' rear guard. Tam Folly has already fallen, and now the gathering Death Guard force threatens to break through the Ultramarines' lines. The Ultramarines must halt them in their tracks. Okay, so the armies are Battle-Forged armies. The Death Guard army must contain the following models: Typhus and at least 20 Poxwalkers. Both teams have got 3 command points. Deployment-wise, Space Marines go first. Players then alternate deploying their units until all units have been deployed. The Death Guard player takes the first turn. So not only do they get to use their stratagem to redeploy their Poxwalkers wherever they want to, obviously not 6 inches from the edge and not 9 inches from any Space Marine forces, but they also get to go first. Okay, victory conditions are: each objective controlled at the end of the game is worth 2 victory points. A player controls an objective if they have more models within 3 inches. Enemy warlords slain is 1 victory point. Each enemy unit eliminated is 1 victory point. And each game lasts for 5 battle rounds. Okay, so that is it. Finally, we've got Warhammer stores, a little bit of information about that, which is all good. And then for our final issue, your final conquest. Oh, I'm really sad, to be fair. The battle for Corvon 2 ends with issue number 80. Your final conquest, Magnavent Walkway Part 2, and the battle for Corvon 2 ends. And that will be it. Well, it won't be it for this channel anyway. I've got more conquest stuff coming up, and let me know what you want me to do after this, so I can go out and buy more Death Guard stuff, continue to look at some of the different types of play, so the match play stuff, the open play, the narrative play. But yeah, tell me what you guys want me to do next after the conquest. Those of you who are already into my Mortal Realms issues, they are going to continue right through to issue number 80. And so keep joining me over there. But other than that, I will see you for issue 80 next week. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.